Agile project emphasize collaboration, flexibility, and iterative development, requiring teams to be self-organizing rather than just following a hierarchical structure. Unlike the traditional project management, agile teams do not have a single project manager controlling everything. Instead, roles are distributed among the product owners, the scrum master, and development team. And in case of utilizing the Scrum framework, this is the scenario where you only have the product owner, the Scrum Master, and the development team. In hybrid environment, roles must align with the traditional project management structure, balancing the flexibility with the governance. And to understand what the first role we have here as part of the Scrum framework, the product owner. And the product owner is the voice of the customer in agile teams. They are responsible for defining and prioritizing the product backlog based on the customer needs and business value. Also, they are responsible for to ensure clear communication between the stakeholders and the development team. Also, accepting or rejecting the completed work as one of these key responsibilities of the product owner. So the product owner is responsible for accepting or rejecting the increment or the product work or the feature or whatever being implemented based on the predefined acceptance criteria. The product owner also is responsible for let's say um, collaborating closely with the scrum master and the development team to ensure continuous improvement. To take an example here, where let's say there is a scenario where is a banking institution developing a mobile banking application, pointed a product owner who worked closely with the customer to understand their requirements, such as instant payment, multi factor authentication, and a biometric login requirements. And by prioritizing these features based on the customer feedback and the business value, the app launch was successful, improving the customer retention. So in this example, we've showed how the product owner is the connection between the customer and the Scrum Master and the development team by collecting these requirements and understanding their priorities and value based on the customer needs and stakeholder feedback. Based on that, all of these features are being prioritized and communicated to the Scrum Master and to the development team to be developed. The next role we have here is the Scrum Master, which you as a project manager. And the Scrum Master here is a servant leader who ensures that the team follows agile principles and practices. Unlike traditional project manager, Scrum Master does not direct the team, but rather than facilitate the agile processes. So the key responsibilities of the project manager includes removing the impediments or obstacles that prevents the team from making the progress. Also, coaching the team on agile best practices and a framework, facilitating the Scrum ceremonies such as the Scrum plan or the let's say we said sprint planning, the sprint review, the daily stand up, the sprint retrospectives. Also, ensuring the continuous improvement by analyzing the team performance. So these are the key responsibilities of the Scrum Master. And to look at an example here, let's say there's a software development team who's struggling with inefficient sprint planning, which was assisted by a scrum master who introduced a story point estimation and burned down charts to improve the planning accuracy. As a result, the team has increased the delivery efficiency by 30% in 3 months. So in this example, it talks about how the software team were having and struggling and having issues with the inefficient sprint planning because they weren't able to prioritize or to let's say understand each of the story or the feature of the requested features by the customer or by the stakeholders. So they weren't able to understand the zero point estimation technique, also the bend down chart to improve planning accuracy. So by having a Scrum Master who has introduced all of these story point estimation and burn down charts, has, let's say, increased the delivery efficiency. And the third role in, let's say, in Scrum events or an agile project where utilizing Scrum framework is the development team role. And the development team consists of the cross-functional professionals responsible for designing, building, testing the product. Unlike the traditional development models where the team work in silos, agile development teams collaborate continuously to ensure faster delivery. And the key characteristics of agile development teams, they are self-organizing. And what does it mean by self-organizing? They are team members who decides how to complete their work by themselves in order to establish, let's say, the sprint goal. Also, one of these key characteristics is they are cross-functional, like they are in different, let's say, expertise, including developers, testers, user interface designers, business analysts who works together. Also, they are collaborative, and collaborative means here they are regular communicating and collecting the feedback, having a feedback loops to drive continuous improvement. So these are the key characteristics of agile development team. Now have, let's say, a quick comparison to understand the agile roles, the roles within agile and the roles within traditional project management. So traditional project management roles are clearly defined and hierarchical, whereas agile promotes the shared accountability. When it comes to the traditional role of project manager, when it comes to agile, there is no project manager. The project manager is called a Scrum Master. The traditional on the traditional approach, there is a role which is called the business analyst. The other hand, you have it in agile is called the product owner. In the traditional approach, you have the functional teams. On the other hand, in agile development, you have the cross-functional teams. The key differences in terms of the name of the role and project manager and scrum master. The Scrum Master facilitate agile processes instead of directing the work on the traditional approach. When it comes to the product owner and business analyst, so the product owner prioritizes the work based on customer needs instead of just gathering a requirements. The cross-functional teams who are developers, testers, and designers work together instead of separate teams. Some of, let's say, the impact of following agile over, let's say, or following these roles, responsibility over than just following the traditional project management roles. So the leadership shifts from command and control to servant leadership. This is in terms of the project manager. When it comes to the teams move from specialized role to cross-functional collaboration in terms of functional team. Also, one of the important impact of agile transformation is work moves from rigid planning to adaptive execution. Now when it comes to the responsibility in hybrid agile teams. So hybrid project teams integrate both agile and traditional approaches to balance the flexibility with structure. This is common in organization transitioning to agile while still maintaining the regulatory requirements or fixed schedules. The hybrid agile team role adaptation is like the project manager act as agile enabler, supporting the agile teams while handling the external dependencies. The scrum masters and product owners in hybrid agile team maintain agile execution with hybrid structures. The cross-functional team work in agile sprints while integrating with the traditional teams. Some of the challenges that we already have highlighted earlier in the previous sessions, talking about these challenges in agile, let's say adoption and agile role adoption in this session, we'll talk about. So organization must or often, let's say, struggle with agile role adoption to the resistance, role ambiguity, and culture barriers. So these common challenges and solutions to these challenges. So the resistant role changes, you can provide an agile role training. So you can make the person or the scrum master or the product owner be aware about what will be the responsibilities of that certain role. Also, confusion or ambiguity about the responsibility. By clearly defining agile roles within the organization, you overcome the confusion. Sometimes scaling agile across large organizations, which we already have discussed in the previous session when we said using framework like the scaled agile framework or disciplined agile to encounter these, let's say, big organizations and big teams. The agile leadership and role evolution. So, agile requires a mindset shift in leadership. Instead of directing the tasks, leader must empower the teams by encouraging the autonomy, by allowing the teams to be a self-organized teams. Also by removing obstacles and impediments, by supporting the teams rather than just managing them, by fostering a continuous learning and promoting an agile culture. This is how you shift mindset from the directing the tasks into the leadership empowerment. To summarize our session today we looked at and we understand, like we've had an idea about understanding the agile roles is critical for the project success. We've seen how the scrum master, what were the responsibilities, also the product owner and the development team. We also talked about agile teams function by having a collaborative and more flexible approaches. Hybrid agile project requires an adaptable role structures. And finally, we talked about the leadership who must, or the leader who must evolve to support the agile transformation within the organizations.